All right, hello class, it's Mr. Mascio here, and for your next video lesson, we are working on writing your poem. So before we get to that, let's do the bell ringer. So here's the bell ringer. It's a pop quiz. What needs to be in your poem? I mentioned it earlier. Go ahead and answer the questions to the right. What needs to be in your poem? Once you answer that, write the agenda in your planner. Okay, so as you can tell, alliteration, simile, and personification, along with two of the vocab words, need to be in your poem. These will be skill checks to see if you can use these poetic elements and use the vocab words correctly. All right, here are the vocab words again: heed, ghastly, loathed, scowled, and grisly. Cremation was one of them. It might be harder to use that one in your poem. You may, but I suggest you stick with these three, especially ghastly, scowled, grisly. These will be good ones to use in your poem. So I emailed you the vocab check results from last week. So go ahead and pause the video, go check your email, see what your score is. Retests will be done probably next week sometime. So on the most part, the class did about average on it. So continue to try to use these vocab words in your poem and in your writing and otherwise so you can get used to them. Okay, so your narrative poem. Yesterday, when talking with a lot of students, some of you guys were like, wait, I'm confused, and had no idea what to do. Others were like, I'm like, totally confused right now, and we're just lost. And the other part of you guys were, this is confusing! And I understand. Okay? Just to let you know though, hang in there. This is the writing process. Okay? Few of you guys already have your poem written or are very excited about this, but the rest of you guys, this can be very confusing. So what I decided to do today was to guide you through step by step of writing the poem with something to help you. All right, so here's something to help you. A poem frame, if you want to use it. You do not have to use the poem frame, but for those of you who are completely lost, this will be a way for you to kind of guide you through writing your poem. Now, before we get to that, this is how your poem should look when you turn it in tomorrow on Friday. This is how your poem should look. Okay? Like this. Okay? Notice that up here, I want your name, period, number, and date. This is so when I print them off and post them, I know who they belong to. And how you get up here is you just put your mouse up here, you just double click, and now you're in what is called the header. And it should automatically be on the right side of the screen over here. Okay? So your name, period, number, then date. Feel free to pause the video at any time right now, go over and take care of these things as we go. Now, next, this says narrative poem right here. Some of you guys deleted that, and that's fine. All right, but you definitely need this title right here. All right, or a title, not this one. This is the Cremation of Sam McGee. But your title should be here, and it can be in whatever font you like. All right, I put in the font, this creepy kind of font. So put in some creative title. Then all I want on your document is just your poem. I don't want the outline. I don't want your notes. I just want your poem, and I want it to be left aligned. So I don't want your poem to be center aligned, and I'll show you the difference between the two. All right, so this is left aligned. This is center aligned. Left, center. I want it left. Your title is center, but your poem is left aligned. And your poem needs to be at least 3 stanzas long, which is 12 lines. Okay? The lines don't have to be this long, but it does have to be 3 stanzas long. This should be the beginning, this should be the middle, and this should be the ending of your poem. All right? This is just the first 3 stanzas from The Cremation of Sam McGee, which is a lot longer than 3 stanzas. So I just wanted to show you what it should look like when you turn it in. No outline, no bullet points. That was just for you to get to know your story before you turn it into a poem. Now, the frame. Right? This is just for those people who are completely lost with their poem and need help. If you are fine working on your own, you can stop the video right now and just get straight to your poem and start working. But for the rest of you who are really frustrated, I'm going to allow you to follow this frame. All right? So first off, you should open up your poem in another window so we're ready to go. All right, if you haven't done so already. Okay? Your first line of the first stanza. On Halloween, name and name went out to something spooky or mischievous. So anything in red, I want you to make up your own stuff for, your own name of the two characters and something that they're doing. Okay? Now for all of this frame, feel free to change any of the white one as well. That's up to you. It's not like you have to have the words in white just as they are. If you want to change it a little bit, go ahead. But this is a nice outline for you to follow. On Halloween, name and name went out to something, to TP a house, or to go trick or treat, or to walk in the woods, whatever you want them to do. Okay? So right now, pause the video, go write that first line. All right, hopefully now you're back. Your first line is written. Let's go on to the second line. The night was adjective, and the noun in the location was a human characteristic. This is going to be personification. So the night was spooky, ghastly, because you need to get in some of those vocab words. And you're going to choose a noun, just like the moon, right, in the sky or wherever your noun is, was watching us or whatever. I don't want you to use the moon in the sky was watching. Right? When you go through this frame, any examples I give you, you can't use. All right? But this is you getting in your personification. Now, when it comes to rhyming, if you want it to rhyme, the end of this line and the end of this line need to rhyme. Right? It's kind of for some extra points there. But it doesn't have to. So pause the video and go write that second line. All right, moving on to the third line. Right? They arrived at place. It was adjective and imagery sound. Right? Adjectives describe things. This might be a good place to get in an alliteration. You should know what an alliteration is. You need to know that. So if you don't know, go find out, look it up, and make sure an alliteration's here. So, for example, they arrived at the woods. It was spooky and scary, and then give me some imagery. It was full of grotesque trees, and they heard owls chirping in the distance, whatever. All right, this is just giving us some imagery, which every good poem should have. Pause the video, write the third line. Okay, now the last line. Name was adjective, but name was adjective, so what did they do to get them in trouble? So this name and this name should be your two characters. Ted was scared, but Fred was brave, so they went further into the forest, or they knocked on the Halloween door, the haunted house door, whatever. Right? But this is for you to make up whatever your character's names are. Okay? Pause this. Go ahead and write this fourth line. All right, so now, one done. How does it feel? You're a third of the way done with your poem. Yay! All right, hopefully you've been pausing the video and filling it out. Do not go on further than this if you have not written the first stanza of your poem. You will become overwhelmed. So I'm assuming that if you're here at this point, you're ready to move on to the second stanza. So, next line of the second stanza. Suddenly, something surprising, and how did they react? They can be scared by something, they can fall into something, and then what's going to happen? They broke their legs, they ran away, they took out a slingshot. What's going on in this story? Pause it and write the first sentence. All right, line 2. They, more of how they react, like as a noun. This is where your simile comes into play. But they, what stops them? So, for example, they ran away like a bat out of hell, which would be the noun, all right? Or they ran like a cheetah, or whatever, all right? That's a simile, comparing your two characters to a noun or a thing, right? But they ran into a tree, or they saw another monster, whatever your, excuse me, however your story is going at this point, this would be a nice place to throw in your simile, all right? Pause the video, write your second line. Next, behind them, they saw an adjective, noun, scary, monster. It was verbing. Verb is an action. So it was drooling. It was, smiling widely, whatever. This is for you to come up with. Pause it, write that third line. All right, and then the last line of the second stanza. Name started verbing, but name, the other character, adjective, and they, something that almost ends them both. All right, so Ted started screaming, but Fred bravely, or something to describe him, right? But Fred was brave, or Fred became tall, whatever you want to throw in there, and they, something that almost ends them. This is the time of the poem that, oh my goodness, and they were swallowed by the monster. Something along that nature. Pause, write. All right, one more to go. And yeah, I'm not going to give you the last one. All right. Sorry. But this is something for you to come up with. This will be your homework. I want you to write the last stanza on your own. I've guided you through 2 of them, and I want you to do the last one on your own. Don't forget, it must contain alliteration, simile, personification, 2 vocab words. This is what you will be graded on using these 4 things. You will not be graded on how well your rhythm goes of your poem or the rhyming or anything like that. You'll be graded on these 4 things. The other things are to help you write your poem. Don't forget, here are the vocab words. All right, good luck. It is due Friday night at midnight.